Moving on to chapter 14 of The Hunter and the Sphinx. Very nice. Oh, it's pretty bright. Nice cloudy day, not too bright. I'm not gonna get too warm here today. As we left our Hunter and Sphinx, they were just starting out learning in the Shadowed Enclave. We've been assigned personal trainers to fully assess their abilities and teach them the basics. Oh, I hear a motorcycle. Oh, let's go up the hill. Okay. And so, of course, the training at the Shadow Enclave involves learning spells, stalking targets, avoiding detection, combat tactics, and some pickpocketing. They both, Hunter and Tian, have fairly well-developed skills in most of those areas. So they were both given fairly advanced trainers. There's a river down there. Barely see it. And strolling. It's warm. So, well, Hunter's Spartan training and, of course, time spent hunting in the jungles of the planet Bob helped him advance rather quickly with his trainer. And he was very impressed with him. And of course, Tian just absorbs all of her trainer's information rather quickly with her already considerable stealth abilities and ability to learn spells effortlessly. She quickly goes through several trainers who all become rather frustrated and irritated dealing with her as she learns too quickly for them to do anything. The guild leader finally takes over her training, and Tian asks him one day about, techniques for reducing spell size and output. The leader agrees to share what he can if she can lay a claw on the back of his neck without being hit by his trading staff. So Tian quickly agrees to this challenge as she feels very confident in her ability to defeat him. So Tian quickly fades from sight and begins stealthing around. The leader tries to use detect, but he can't find her with his detect. He begins spinning his staff around in a crazy pattern, hoping to land a lucky blow, but all of his spinning and turning are useless as Tian is too fast and quickly manages to lay a claw on the back of his neck. Well done, Tian. You surpassed my highest expectations. Very well. I will teach you what I know, but fortunately for you, it isn't much. Wow. You got me all worked up thinking I was going to learn something about that. Sorry. I just wanted to test you anyway. There's not really much I can tell you about reducing spells size. It's not usually an issue. Most of the time people want to have bigger, more powerful magic, but I can see that might not be your issue. Well, oh well. That's really all you got to teach. I think I'm going to try my luck at the Storm Tower for a while and see if they can help me further in the area. Yeah, I can see you're a special sort that learns way too quickly for anything I can provide for you. So, best of luck. So, Hunter and Tian agreed to meet up in a week. Hunter would use his link to her to call her when he was out and about in about a week there, and they would see how things were going with each other at that point. Well, about a week later, the scheduled hunter was out hunting womp rats in a nearby forest. Good meat, those womp rats. Very tasty. Uh, so he used his link, and for minutes later, Tien appeared. I could have followed my nose to your kills as easily as following the link on this one. Your kills smell delicious. All right, Tien, you can have one. I've got plenty to bring back for everybody at the Shadowed Enclave. Thank you. So, let me tell you my tale of woe. Uh-oh. Are you having problems learning spells, Tien? No. Learning spells is easy. Controlling spells, well, not so good. Oh, let me guess. You blew up the storm tower. No. Nothing quite so disastrous. However, every time I try to cast a spell that they ask me to cast at target dummy, I annihilate it. And let me guess. They don't want you annihilating target dummies because that costs money and resources to replace them. Precisely. And unfortunately, given my lack of control, I seem to blow up whatever I target. And then I have to scrub the floors, harvest resources, and do just about everything besides learning and practicing as punishment. Poor Tien. What are you going to do? Well, there is one potentially fun thing coming up. Every once a week, the Storm Tower is allowed to conduct weather-altering spell practice. And hopefully, the Master will allow me to practice as well out in the open where I can't destroy anything. Oh, well, that should be fun. So that's in 2 days. All right, I'll definitely come watch. I'll see if a Shadowed Enclave leader wants to come too. You probably want to see it. Hopefully they'll let you. So 2 days later, the hunter did indeed join his guild leader, and amongst the crowds that are watching the weekly performance by the Storm Tower. So as they began, students began something in the bushes. That's small, whatever it is. So as they began, the students of varying degrees of talent began to cast their beginner spells, firing them off the edge of the cliff towards the rocks below. And all the crowds were gathered on a nearby part of the plateau where the city was to have a good vantage point to watch and stay safely out of range of the spells in case any students decided to cast awry and send anything off wildly towards the crowd. There were some experienced masters prepared with defensive magic just in case. And as they cast their lightning and fire and hail and ice and wind magic at the rocks below, Tien was feeling more upset about her lack of control and frequent punishments, and the master in charge finally let her try after everybody else had gone and crowds had figured that was about the end of it for the day. No special masters performing today, so nothing much to stick around for. And as the crowds began to start to drift away, the master let her try. And one of the other students started teasing her with a Master of Disaster comment. And that was it. Tien had enough. She snapped a bit, lost her self-control a little bit, and decided she was going to bring the disaster. Well, as the crowd began to lose interest and started to thin out, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Electricity started to crackle through the air. The wind started to blow. Clouds began to gather and darken. The crowd stopped, began to watch again as suddenly everyone's fur and hair began to stand on end. Static charges began to build everywhere. And Hunter looked at Tien and thought, oh, she looks mad. This is going to be interesting. So Tien gathered power and began to unleash her more powerful spells that she had learned from siphoning knowledge from the people in the storm tower. First, all the electricity gathered. The clouds began to rain down in great forked bolts upon the rocks below as Tien cast chain lightning all across the landscape before her. People were rather startled, impressed, scared, all varying degrees, as she began to call down bolt after bolt of powerful lightning and blew up rocks to little pebbles down in the valley below. And then she switched to flame strike. The heat began pouring over the crowd as huge gouts of flame fell from heaven onto the blasted rocks below. And she switched to the blizzard. Great sheets of ice and cold washed over the valley below as she froze all of the flames she just cast, before finally calling upon the sun to melt it all away with a giant solar beam, which of course caused a huge amount of steam to spread across the air, obscuring everyone's vision. And Tien, of course, shadow stepped to behind Hunter and said, "Meet me on the road northeast of town in an hour." And before shadow stepping away again. And Hunter thought, did she just shadow step all the way from across that cliff over there? Sheesh, that takes an incredible amount of magic to shadow step that far. She's crazy. The crowd, of course, is just buzzing and confused and wondering what the heck all that was about. They weren't expecting any masters to perform. It's just supposed to be students today. Well, they got more than they bargained for, that's for sure. Hunter and the leader of the Shadowed Enclave return there, and Hunter just tells them it looks like they're gonna have to leave. His friend seems to have created a bit of a stir, and they're probably going to be continuing on their journey by the sounds of it. So the Shadowed Enclave leader gives him the highest, promotion he can, up to apprentice level, and his guild. Of course, Tien had already reached that before she left, because he's only a master and couldn't promote them any further. So, well, you've certainly done well for yourself in the short time you've been here. We'll definitely find a higher ranking guild master down the road, and he'll be able to teach you more. So, as the Hunter leaves, packs supplies, and meets Tien northeast of town as they planned, she tells them that there's something. She heard something while she was casting her large spells. You know, there's this voice. Can't quite place who it might be or exactly where it's from, but it seems to be calling me east. That I might learn more there. And not sure exactly what it is, but I think when I unleashed all that powerful magic, something noticed me and is calling me. And it doesn't feel evil or malicious, so let's kind of go in that general direction, east and north, maybe a bit northeast. Oh, all right, well, we got to learn all we can about this new world, and the capital of Northfall is Northwatch. Go figure. And it's north and east of us, so let's go there, and I'll see what we can learn. It's a pretty big city, so we should be able to find lots of useful information there. Probably a useful guild to get you some more skills as well. Sounds like a good plan. Down there. And with that, they set off on their journey to Northwatch. And that concludes our adventure for Chapter 14. To be continued, Chapter 15.